Greetings. I forgot to turn on that light. Greetings. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. We have another live show, and I didn't have anything very specific. I had a lot of things I'm working on the background, and nothing that specifically came up for this. So I said, hey, let's just talk about random Linux stuff without a ton of agenda. I have like a few little things here to talk about on my little piece of paper. If I can read it partway through the stream, but we'll see what happens from that. But anyway, how's everybody doing?
I'm doing fine.
Pretty good. Nice day today outside.
All right. Yeah, it's a nice day. There's, where I was hanging out over by the lake over there, and somebody apparently had abandoned a car, possibly before or after committing crimes and or engaging in battering the car up. There was actually a swastika star carved in the trunk of the car. A window, at least two of the windows are bashed in. The mirrors are all torn off. And it's been there about 2 weeks now, I guess, and the police can't find it. I called in, and another one of the neighbors around here called in, and the police, they sent another state trooper down the road here, and they still can't find this car. Like, it's in the parking lot.
Yeah, what do you gotta do? Put a stand with a big red flag on it?
Yeah. Abandoned, beat up, torn up car this way.
Yes. Or a big neon arrow sign saying,
yeah,
here you go.
Yeah, or unless they can't find a car park, have a big sign there, abandoned car park.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So there's that. Oh yes. So for you guys, anyone else see the white line on the cam? Yeah, it's a streak down there. You can kind of see the lens flare coming in because the sun is setting and shining in the back door. Should I close that door at least a little bit? Let me know in the comments. Should I close that door at least a little bit? It's really hot, so I kept it open. Usually the sun's like right before we started streaming, it was perfectly fine, but now the sun is setting and it's shining in. I might have to close that.
Yeah, on the YouTube side, it's coming through on your picture, but in the Jitsi, it's not quite in there yet.
No, it's because the Jitsi camera angle is a little bit different. I think it's actually getting way worse as we speak. Let me close the door just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm also watching the stream, and I think it's
that's going to be burning on your back.
I actually think the glare from the sun is a little cool.
Yeah, that thing on the stream side.
Okay, the door does not want to close, and I accidentally stepped on the cat.
Yeah, while you were away from your head. Okay.
There you go.
Well,
I was saying while you were away from the headphones that I actually think the glare looks a little cool. It kind of looks like you have a halo on top of your head.
Yeah, well, I'm no angel.
It's going to burn the back of his neck and his back, though.
Yeah. All right. It's giving me the Jesus glow. Oh, no. No blasphemy here. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. Keegan starts the day with a Linux-based dad joke. Google has decided to end its sentient AI program because the AI started using Arch Linux.
Ooh.
If you have other dad jokes, leave them in the comments there. We have no real agenda. We'll get to them. Just got done fighting with a server running Debian Linux dual network card configuration issues. Turned out to be a bad card. Oh, that explains it. Hello, North Point. Greetings. Renee Watson, how are you doing? Bill of Right was never intended for what the people wanted. So limits. Okay, yeah, I think Renee's talking about those of us in the United States are celebrating a Supreme Court decision came down today basically affirming, yes, you do actually have a constitutional right to carry a firearm even outside of your house. So I wonder if that's going to change the Pennsylvania regulation. I can carry my firearm anywhere except a class 1 city, which would be like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. I don't think there's another one. I'd have to check. I don't go in cities much, so I never cared. But I'm wondering if that will override that policy change as well. So I'll have to look into that. But yeah, the Supreme Court did rule that. And of course, now what Renee is wondering here, I'm like right in between the good and the bad light there. What Renee is talking about is there was allegedly some CNN poll, so we can completely agree with it, that said most Americans don't agree with this. Who did you ask? Your fellow CNN viewers, all 5 of them? And 3 of them said, oh no, Americans shouldn't have guns. Kind of crazy.
I think you should go to your local party store and be able to purchase one.
We should just wait for the police to show up and stand outside for an hour and a half while people continue to shoot inside.
Put them under the counter in the gas stations.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Getting weirder day by day. Found some issues with the motherboard that the power supply isn't compatible. What? I've never heard of a power supply not compatible with a motherboard. It was not like the first thing that was standardized in computer builds.
Possibly.
North Point says, "Oh, it's a Dell." Hey, I like my Dell computers. It's a low block.
Dude, I have plenty of Dells.
No, it's fine. You can rip on Dells. Dells do have a few issues. I would not buy a new one because their warranty team. I was tell you guys about this fun one. So one of the Dells I had some issue with it, and so I call into Dell like, "Hey, can I get some parts?" And they're like, "Well, what's the service tag?" So I give them the service tag. Like, "We'll ship those right up." I said, "Don't you want my address?" "Well, we have your address." "You don't have my address." "Yeah, we do." She told me some address in some other state. I said, "That's not my address." "Well, that's the address on the service tag." "What, you think I'm actually going to register my Dell with you?" "No, I'm not." And so needless to say, I hung up the phone and ordered the parts on like Amazon or something. I don't know. But that's the thing I like about Dells is you can buy the parts from anywhere. It's not like this Apple stuff. Apple ran out of parts. You guys see that this week? Apple ran out of parts.
Yeah. I got a 2019 Dell Precision, and the whole bottom of it can be opened up and taken apart. The CPU,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The hard drive comes out of it, the battery comes out of it, the GPU comes out of it. I mean, it's completely repairable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I remember having someone gave me a desktop G4 and a Mac G4 that you had to have a separate screen for 15 or so years ago or something like that. And there was a handle on the side that you could just you open the entire side, and the motherboard and everything just came out with the handle. So back in the day, Apple used to be repairable. And it seems to me that after the change of leadership, because Steve Jobs passed away, this changed.
Yeah. I actually did fix a few Apples for friends of mine back in the day, going back a decade ago, because they had very easy swappable parts. Greens Moonbase Alpha Grays, how's it going there? Asus X360 370 Pro and Ryzen 1800, 18, whatever. It's a Ryzen. I had a headache from a Dell dual network card in my server. Please don't forget to check your email. Your package is on the way. Yes, thank you. I did check the email. I did see it was there. The stuff we ordered should be into my address as early as this week, as late as the end of next week. And as soon as I see that, I will turn it around and let you know when that is on your way. And I'll see the white line on Tom's camera. I know. I love LMDE for the laptop. Greetings, pizza. Are you okay? I see your message was retracted, and that usually means there's some FBI guy in there, restraining your speech.
Wasn't me.
No, I mean he's had that problem before. Pizza. Sun is giving you a Jesus glow. It's from the sun, not something on the lens. Yeah. Can you add Risi OS to your list? Just released. Oh yeah, yours. RISIOS. Yeah, I will. As next time I get some Wi-Fi, I'll see if I can download it today. I'm at a friend's house right now. I may be able to jump online. There's a few other distros I want to talk about. Pizza. Do you want to jump on? Hold on. Do I have a way to get a hold of you easily? If you want to jump on and talk about it, that's kind of what we're doing today. Let me know in the comments there, and I'll see if I can find a way to get you a link. Any of you guys have Pizza's email directly?
I don't know.
I don't.
Okay. I'm not even sure if I do
Pizza@hut.com.
But I also though don't have my my computers with email addresses turned on either. So anyway, but yeah, we'll do that. There's a few other ones. Of course, I do want to have a look at the newer Peppermint, and Spiral Linux just came out. I want to have a look at. This is by the same mysterious developer behind Gecko Linux. It's supposed to be Debian that's ready for the end user. So I want to have a look at that one as well. But yeah, I'll have a look at it. Just a random thing for anyone interested, but this stream started. It has, wait, But Steam has just started a summer sale. All right, if you are into Steam, Steam has a summer sale today. SCOTUS ruling mean that you don't need a permit now. I don't think they went that far. So there was some debate, were they going to do what's called a constitutional carry, which several states now have, or were they going to do a shall issue? So the difference is in 2A, there is constitutional, there is shall, and there is may. New York, New Jersey, a few other states were very heavy on the may issue, which means you need to go in and plead your case for why you happen to need a CCW. And many people saw that that was too restrictive because basically you had to go and you had to prove your case to a sheriff about why you needed it. And then there was a lot of red tape, like, you know, how many of these can they process at a time, whatever else. Shall issue means all I need to do is go in and issue, basically go in, pay the fee, and they, unless I have something that restricts me from having a CCW, they have to give it to me. Now, some people are worried about the shall issue decision, which is better than may issue. But the concern with the shall issue is, well, what if these Democrats say, okay, fine, we have to allow you to have it, but it's going to cost you like $20,000 for a CCW annually, which puts it out of the range of everybody else. So if they try to do that, they'd probably lose again, saying, hey, this is a restrictive means. Constitutional means as long as you are a citizen in the place with photo ID, with good standing, no felony backgrounds, and no misdemeanor domestic convictions, you are allowed to carry. And so that's what people were hoping for, although most people assumed it wasn't going to happen that good. But no, you should probably still do need the permit, but there are some states where you don't need a permit. I know there's several states that are like that. I think Utah, I know Wyoming is, I'm pretty sure Montana is,
Probably Arizona.
I think Arizona, maybe Virginia, I forget. But just check your local states. These things are always changing. But then you have the other factor where if you have a CCW, then you have what's called reciprocity with different states. So with my Pennsylvania CCW, I can actually carry in about 35 different states. So there's a lot to do, but you need to spend the time to research what all that means. I hope they overrule the Las Vegas laws. You can't have a gun built after 19. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. There are now
no nuclear bomb for you.
Oh, there are now 12-volt only desktop motherboards that need specific PC. I want to look into that. That looks awesome. 12-volt motherboards. Awesome. I will be all over a 12-volt motherboard. I will figure out how to tie that thing into my batteries.
There you go.
Are they good? But Apple ran out of parts. Yeah. No, they did. They were sending people's damaged phones and computers back to them because they ran out of parts. They're like, we don't know when the parts are coming in, so we're going to send it back to you. And then as soon as the parts are here, we're going to let you know, and you have 5 days to bring your device back to keep your queue in line.
Yeah, I heard that the devices that they are sending back to customers are devices that still operate.
Yeah, so like you have a cracked screen, but it's still otherwise functional, things like that.
Yeah.
Don't care about politics unless it affects me. And Biden is the first president to negatively affect me with inflation. Yes. If you were only slightly older, Trump would have affected you positively in that respect. Because like it or not, yes, he did a lot of bad, stupid things, but he also did a lot for the middle class with the tax savings. Of course, a lot of people are incompetent with that. And that's like, oh, yeah. Hold on. Let's go ahead and everybody report him. Let's see. Pornography or explicit material. Yep. Ban him for that. Yep. All right. We had a sex bot.
Yeah.
You know you're getting on YouTube's naughty throttle list when they swear they give you like to the secondary. It's like level 2 of YouTube instead of level 1. They kick you down to level 2 and then you're susceptible to all this crap. Anyway, I was saying a lot of people were like, well, Trump did bad. I got a smaller tax refund. Yeah, that means that they were taking less of your money to begin with, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm glad someone caught that because I just now, a few minutes ago, got that bot.
Yep. I'm going to report all of them to get them off of the line so that you don't see bad words in the replay.
Yes.
So everybody, if you see the bot, everybody report it. It'll be fun. All right.
I just saw a video last week or the week before that Linus Tech Tips reviewed some software 1 or 2 years ago. There's a Python script that you can run on Windows, or that will go through all the videos of your channel, or the latest 5 or a specific video, and it will automatically give you a list of spam comments, and you can hide them. And he is running that at least once a day via a cron job.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
How do I order stuff online in the van? Well, from Amazon. Amazon has pickup locations all around the country. So just go into Amazon, log in with your account, and then under your address book, you can do a search for the zip code or the town that you're in, and you'll see a place of all the places where you can have stuff delivered. So you just pick one of those in the town that you are in or going to be in that period of time. You place the order, and then you show up, and they're going to send you an email with a code, and you just go on over. Usually it's a panel of lockers. You go over, enter in the code, and boom, there's your stuff. So you can do that all over the country.
Or if you're really advanced and adventurous, you say that between so-and-so time, I am driving down so-and-so highway, and they just pull up alongside and hand it over the window.
There you go. There you go. That's always that. Total OS today. How's it going there, man? I hope you're doing good. How's the caddy doing? Is the trunk empty?
How's his foot doing?
Oh, is your foot messed up? What happened to his foot?
He broke his foot a couple months
No,
ago.
That's not good. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
It should be better now. He's probably out cutting rugs on Friday night.
Your thoughts on Microsoft giving 10K prizes to open source projects voted on by their employees? I don't see a problem with it specifically, as long as there's no like crazy strings attached. Like, here's $10,000, put our trackers in it. And are they doing that? Probably not. It is open source sources. I think someone would notice. I don't know. Maybe getting the spam bot in the online chat though. Maybe that means you're moving up in the world. I don't know.
It's recognition.
Ooh, I'm getting recognition. There you go. July 1st, Indiana is going no permit needed to carry. Still have to conceal though. Yeah. So the advantage of doing open, like the standard advantage of getting a CCW in a constitutional state is if you do travel a lot, oftentimes the constitutional carry would apply to people that live in the state, depending on which state it is. See, state has constitutional, allows you to carry, conceal, or pay the permit and safety class. Pennsylvania is funny because to get the CCW, it's one of the only states I know of that to get the CCW, you do not actually have to have training courses. It's funny because when I lived in Wyoming, they had constitutional carry, so I did not need a permit to carry in Wyoming. But if I wanted to get the permit, I'd have to go through the gun safety training courses. I'm like, why would I bother doing that? We're from Wyoming.
Like
we always train with our guns in the backwoods with explosive rounds. Anyway, Dan.
When I was a young man, you were allowed to have a gun rack in the back window of your truck. Yeah.
And who's fishing pole?
Yeah, a fishing pole. Same like down south. It was a common thing down in Tennessee and Kentucky and all that, but they changed the rules up here where you actually had to get a permit to mount your shotgun in your back window.
Oh, my word.
I remember
now everything they changed it because everything now has to be transported in a case.
Yeah,
I remember in the documentary Bowling for Columbine, Michael Moore. He was in a part of the video. He is talking to a group of people, asking if they remember in the olden days where everyone had a loaded shotgun in the back window, and the keys were always in the ignition because you might forget where the keys were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toss says the foot is
but
almost
now you
back
don't
to
even
normal.
need keys.
Yeah.
I got a truck outside. As long as you got a transmitter in your pocket, you just jump in it and hit the start button.
Which is very easy for somebody to abduct you now, I will add.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the latest Tesla vulnerability, you can make your own keys.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, CNBC did an article in Canada about so many cars being stolen because all these crooks have come up with these new tricks for these cars. Like they have a thing you can buy online that'll actually connect with your key fob in your bedroom or wherever you leave it. It's a booster. So it gets the transmitted signal from it, and then you can go out and just throw the device in the vehicle after you conveniently unlock it with the pick that you bought on eBay or from Amazon. And this thing receives a signal that you just recorded, and your vehicle start up and drive right away with it.
Yeah, it's all this technology is making it worse and worse. That's for sure.
There is some benefits. My brother, he is a taxi driver in my old city, and his previous taxi, they had this electronic locking thing where he could start it just by getting into the seat. It was a diesel thing, but a feature that he had was that he had to pair his phone to the car, so that if the car and the phone separates by a preset amount of meters or feet, there's an alarm going off in the phone, and he can push a button on the phone and shut the car down, and you can't start it even with the key.
Yeah, the chip keys are crazy. Total S today says the foot is almost back to normal. 1 more month, and the foot doctor is in the caddy truck. So, well, you know, if you gotta keep
the foot doctor off the payroll.
Yeah, there you go. Would the T-Mobile home internet work for the van situation? So the T-Mobile home internet works in a 5G situation. So no, even in big cities, T-Mobile home internet does not usually work well. Very few places actually it seems to function. So. But yeah, I mean, maybe down the road it'll get even better. We have to keep fob and foil, yeah. So I was out with a friend in Virginia a couple months ago, and we go back in, and he goes to turn the key, and the key falls apart with the transmitter there. So here we are in the car with a key, and the car won't start. The transmitter falls out of the key.
Oh man.
This the beauty of the technology. Let's see. Your girlfriend lost the key to a Camry, so you get a new keys made by a local locksmith the other day. $230 for 2 and no more key fob. Yep. Getting on the bus. See you later, pizza. All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit of Linux while we're here on Switch to Linux, right? Distros. I talked briefly about some distros. We have the VPNs OS from Pizza. I'll have a look at that as soon as I can download a copy. Spiral Linux looks good, and the Qubes tutorials are a go. So if anybody has specific questions about Qubes, I will go ahead and incorporate those in, however many videos we need to make. I looked at my last Qubes tutorials was like, I think it was like 5 or 6 videos or so. But if I remember correctly, I kind of took them by pointing a camera at them. Now, I am going to have to do that a little bit on the install because the installation is not being picked up by the capture card. But once we have it installed, I'll be able to show you guys a lot of what's going on. So next video, which will be Monday, is the Qubes installation and maybe a few basic configuration things, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about how to use it and why you might want to with a little bit more and stuff like that. So that's Qubes OS. I'm looking forward to that. Any other distros anybody wants to bring up that before we jump on to something else?
Peppermint's still going strong. The guys are still working on the Devon version, which is will be something like Peppermint, but without systemd. It'll be sysv.
Okay.
They're working on that. We're enjoying really decent numbers on downloads for Peppermint every week. People out there are using it. People, ask, why do you have a 32-bit version? Well, Debian offered a 32-bit core to build from, so they decided to actually go all the way and do as much with the 32-bit as they could. because it is brought to our attention that there are countries out in the world that still do not have new computers. They have very old ones from last decade.
Yep.
So, or even the last century for that matter. And there's still downloads for the 32-bit version, even though most of the distros have canned it.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know why the Jitsi server is being slow right now. I'm going to drop the performance settings down a little bit more again, but it's not my internet speed. I'm like doing like a 60 down and a 40 up right now, so it's not that. I installed a new WordPress website on my dev server for somebody last night, and the brand new version is probably just a giant memory hog, and that's probably literally what it is. I got to get some of these WordPress sites off because WordPress sucks. But anyway,
press those words.
Yeah. T-Mobile and Xfinity plans for 5G boxes both suck. That's what I think. Juan says I look younger. I know. I did this so I feel better when I get carded for all that liquor I don't buy.
There you go.
A series of putting Linux on old Android tablet that's no longer getting updates. If I can get an old Android tablet that I can unlock, it'd be fun. But finding an old Android tablet that still functions that I can unlock is going to be part of the challenge. Migrating over to Nextcloud and Jellyfin. Very cool. Awesome. I have tutorials on both. Of course, if you guys missed it, I did do a full comprehensive installation of Jellyfin on the channel. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago I put that out? And
it was last week.
Last week. And there's a full tutorial step for step what I did over on the website.
Yeah. I think you're going to talk about it in an upcoming later video on it. But one issue that people might have with Jellyfin is it's really tailored towards using a browser, whether it be a web browser or a GUI that interacts via the web portal. There is Jellyfin media player. It's in the FlatHub repo. The issue with Jellyfin is that the player need to have support for the codec that the various videos are in. And if you are playing something that the browser doesn't support, it's gonna live transcode. And if you don't have a graphics card, NVIDIA or AMD that supports that Jellyfin supports, then you are going to have a CPU transcoding. And if more than one is doing that, then you are going to have some so on.
Yeah, those are some of the limitations to it. And there's a few settings and things you can change in the back end as well. You can turn off the transcoding altogether and things like that. And then, of course, you're dependent on your device. So, yeah, there's actually some apps as well available on F-Droid that I experimented with as well.
Yeah, and also the web page of Jellyfin, the documentation page, they have a section of clients support on various platforms. The only platform that you have to pay in order to have it is on iPhones and Apple TVs and so on. There is $1.50 or so a month that you have to pay in order to.
Oh, really? That's pricey.
Yeah. And the only reason is Apple's rules for their App Store.
Yeah, that's why Apple is so abusive as a company. It's like, you have to pay monthly to use this nice, otherwise free FOSS application. Go figure.
Do we have a company that's not abuseful like that? I mean, they're all.
Well, I mean,
just
Android
evil.
allows you to sideload at least. That's why we need sideloading available on Apple. And that's the one thing. Like, I get that it compromises security. Oh, your device isn't as secure. So what? It's my device. I paid thousands of dollars for it.
That was a mistake on Android's part. They didn't realize it could be side-loaded until Apple picked up on it and decided, we're not going to make our devices side-load because somebody just, discovered how to do it with a Google device, an Android device.
Yeah, but my understanding is that this was a deliberate choice when they made Android, that you were supposed to be able to sideload, but I think that they may not have documented that properly in the first few years. But it was always the intention that you were supposed to sideload, and a few years after a few versions, they added a checkbox in the settings that you have to activate sideloading, so that if you don't know if you don't care about where things are coming from, then you are protected in the way that unauthorized repos with malware don't add themselves as part of the software stack.
Yeah.
iPhone, you can jailbreak it.
Yeah.
That's all I got on that one.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's in the name. It's a jailbreak, so the iPhone is a jail.
It is indeed. Here's a fun one. Does anybody know how to get OpenVPN working on Arch?
Never tried it.
So here's the problem I'm having. If anybody can help with this one, leave in the comments or here or whatever else. So I have my own private VPN server, which I use when I'm at coffee shops or things like that. So I have an issue with the cellular internet does not like FTP. And after about 1,000 files, it just kills the internet. And so I have to shut off the modem and then turn it back on every 1,000 files, which is really annoying when you're doing like Joomla and WordPress with 30,000 files. And so what I'm going to try is doing the FTP through a VPN to see if that masks that it's FTP and keeps the thing alive. The problem is I can't get an OpenVPN protocol working on either of my Arch computers. The same exact VPN works just fine on MX Linux. It works just fine on Linux Mint. But I cannot get it to work on either on Plasma or on Cinnamon running Arch. If anybody has any ideas. I even tried doing the terminal based. Does not seem to find it. It times out, and I don't know why. So there is that. If anybody has any experience with that, you guys haven't, but if anybody in the comments has had experience with OpenVPN not connecting on Arch. Let me see if I can find the one doc I tried, just in case anybody points me towards that. It's not that one. I believe it is. Is it this one here?
I like the latest comment in the latest comments from Jeff. FTP Arch 1998 technology there.
Yeah.
Well, FTP is not 1980s technology unless you're talking about file sharing. But when you're talking about interacting with actual servers and doing web design, no, that's still standard technology. Unless, of course, you are interfacing with your own weird private oddly configured servers, but for everything else out there, no, it's still the technology that you use for it.
And there is more and more browsers are dropping FTP support, so you have to have a dedicated program in order to interact with them, but VJet and curl still work.
Okay, one simple search, I found this. There is a forum on a post on the Arch forums that had exactly everything I tried, and for the life of me, I can't find that one anymore. But there is one which gives like 4 simple steps, whatever else, that just will not work. It just will not work. Anybody has any ideas, let me know. I'll be glad to give them a try and let you know what you think. One of them is a Raspberry Pi. Why not put the OpenVPN on your pfSense router? Because I do not want everything running through the VPN. Wonderful video. If you guys missed it this week, is it The Real Geek, The Real Linux Geek? That gentleman. He reviewed a video from another guy this week on VPNs and basically the VPN scam. I'm reading this going, yeah, this is exactly the problem and why I'm not a huge fan of pushing VPNs like everyone. Like you got Ben Shapiro, right? But first, ExpressVPN, hide your VPN because all these people are going to be tracking everything that you do, and you express yourself with ExpressVPN, and then you'll be perfectly safe. Hey, Ben, once you log into your Google account, you completely got rid of every bit of that privacy you were alleging to give people. Okay, VPNs do not.
You're supposed to use it with the Tor browser.
Well, a VPN is good at hiding your basic IP address from a company. But the reality is, all of these companies doing all this data collection, the IP is just some small inconsequential thing that they use. They use tracking cookies. They use logged in browser tokens. They use a variety of different things, cookies and settings and all this kind of stuff. They're using all these things. And if you use a VPN, once you sign into any account, you have completely de-anonymized yourself. And then the tracking cookie is going to follow you around the internet and say, hey, this guy's trying to hide himself. Look, this guy's trying to hide himself. And that's exactly what happens. And it's like that video is exactly right. Which is where Qubes comes into play, because you can isolate those logins from each other on the same computer session much easier. And that's really the safeguard. So VPN is not absolutely this most amazing thing you can possibly do for whatever you're trying to do. You use VPNs for specific reasons. I use a VPN at a coffee shop because it's an insecure otherwise. Yes, I could use the hotspot on my phone, but I'm living in a van and I have very limited internet. If I need to go and download a distro, I'm going to go to a coffee shop, boot up my VPN to make sure my connections are safe, and download my distro. Is that the best privacy protocol? Not really, because I'm the other one using my VPN. Okay, but
every coffee shop's got a dude in there just waiting to get in someone else's computer.
Correct. So I'm not looking to root everything, although doing it for a short period of time as a test might be something to try. The other thing I probably could try is let's just boot up the laptop and transfer the files and do the transfer that way. I can always try that because I know that's working. I thought maybe it was initially an issue with does my cellular internet not allow me to connect to VPN. So I tried it with the laptop and it works just fine. So yeah, so that's a good principle to keep in mind. So don't use a VPN thinking that's going to keep you safe when you're still logging into every account under the sun. The VPN is only going to keep you safe. It's only going to hide your basic IP address, but it doesn't hide anything else. People can still track you. Sorry, Ben, you'll have to find another way to stay anonymous online. And the funny thing is too, this is neat, right? Using Google Ads. You can literally track down somebody's name and address quite easily. Every conversion. The website, I manage a couple websites with Google Ads and stuff, and they're like, hey, give us the conversion report for the month. They literally, you have 20 conversions. Click on this. These are the landing page of those conversions. Yeah, that landing page contains the unique URL of that order that was placed. Take that exact unique URL, which is just tied to the order number on the back of my web platform. Boom. There's their name and the address. I can tie them directly to the Google user, and then I can backtrack from there, click it on that Google user, and see everything else that they've done in my platform.
You can even do this with logs that are where they anonymize the IP addresses and so on. A few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, a Norwegian consumer program called FBI, funnily enough. They had a story about after the British tracking company was busted and then went bankrupt the year after. How easy is it to track someone if you really want to? So they went to so they contacted one of those data broker companies under a pseudonym and pretended to be some company that bought into. So they bought 6 months worth of tracking data based on criteria so and so, and they tracked down I think they 4 or 5 people and contacted them, and people had no idea how easy it is to track.
Just show up at your house. Hi, Bob. How are you? Is
Yeah, they
little
did
Bobby
that.
doing
They
okay in
did
his
that to
bedroom
one
right
of
over
them.
there? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. That's why we have to be more cautious about things. Raz Reveal only use VPNs for live British programming you want to see, and that's a valid reason. Good valid reason. Let's talk valid reasons for VPNs. One of those, bust out geolocation. Hey, I'm not trying to hide my IP address. I just want to see what's broadcasting in Britain from the internet. Valid.
And,
Another one is, go ahead, Selby.
another one is to hide from either the ISP or your own country as intelligence services. If you're using a VPN out to a second country, and then
Yeah, and of course, once you're doing that, don't sign into anything because you have de-anonymized yourself. Anybody else have another one? Ivan?
Nah.
Okay.
Not that I can think of.
My next one is you're on the shady coffee shop Wi-Fi. A VPN is going to tunnel everything that you do through a secure channel. Valid point for a VPN. None of these, by the way, require private internet access or ExpressVPN or any of those. Well, the changing your geolocation. Mine can't change my geolocation. When I run mine, I come out of whatever exit node I've chosen through Linode, I don't know, North Carolina or whatever else. But using like ExpressVPN or private internet access or things like that, you can actually go in and change your geolocation. That's a valid reason to have one of those companies. But to hide yourself and everything you do online is not the reason.
Yeah.
I remember a story 4 years ago. I think it was the U.S. Army who there was a story about how they finally arrested some person. I don't remember if it was a terrorist or an ISIS member, or there was a high value target that they were after, and they have been after for a few years. And when the story broke that they had arrested this person, it came out that this person was very good at hiding his tracks online using VPNs and using Tor and so on. But he did one error. He didn't properly manage his the JavaScript protection, because they found one of his email accounts. And so they hacked the email service and inserted a JavaScript that would trigger when this specific account logged in. And the script was it just pinged a specially crafted URL that didn't exist. But when the logging software recognized that this specific URL was accessed, so they house with one single ping from a JavaScript.
Yep. Yeah, so turn off JavaScript is the other thing you want to do. Jan comment says, who's this person? Where is Tom? I am the real Tom. That weird bearded lunatic who was here for a few months, he had kidnapped me, and I was tied up in the back of my van, and the cats engaged in a rescue mission, and they saved me, and then we tossed that dude over a cliff in Maine somewhere. So, that's what happened there.
Are you sure it was Maine? I think I might have been way up north from here.
Well, the last day that bearded dude was around, he did have dinner with you.
Yeah.
It was you. I know it.
I might have wheel well or something. I didn't do it.
Just dust for that dude's fingerprints right there.
There you go.
Check for barbecue sauce. That was good barbecue, though. Ivan and I met on my last trip up there. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's my favorite restaurant, and any excuse to get up there, I
why not?
Jump
right?
on it.
Hey, you're just lucky I went north instead of down into Salem, right?
Oh my word! If it was Salem, I'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna be on the road a while."
Well, no, it was actually the same distance either way. It was just which direction do I take? So anyway,
right, yeah.
Which I have learned recently that Salem is not under mass Nazism. Every sign and indication seemed to be the case, but I ended up right after I made the decision to go north instead of south. I talked to one of my clients in Boston, and he said, "No, their signs must just be out of date. Everything seems to be fine over there." So, but I don't know. Maybe a trip to Salem is out there. I just want to tour the witch places. That's what I want to do.
The Witch Museum is awesome.
That's what I heard. I got to go check it out. I think the thing is I might want to drive in without a high roof van, because one of the concern that I had is nearly everywhere to park is parking garages. Well, you can't fit a 10 roof high van inside many of these parking garages.
Yeah,
so I called the Chamber of Commerce to find out where can you park in Salem that doesn't, with the height requirements that I have. And we're all working from home because we're terrified of the coof, So I just decided to go north into the woods instead.
Reminds me of one of the Top Gear episodes where they were going camping, and Jeremy Clarkson, he had a Citroen from the 80s, and he changed it into a 3-story camping van. And there were a couple of bridges that he couldn't fit under, and he couldn't even fill gas in his tank because the roof kept hitting. It was ridiculous at all.
Oh boy!
And more than once, it almost fell over during traffic when a small breeze came along.
Yeah,
let me see if I can find info here on these. Here's some of these 12-volt things. This just came out in March. Future Juice. Intel unveils new ATX 3.0, ATX 12VO 3.0 specs for PC power supplies. 2 new specs are going to PC delivery among the new PCI Express 5.0 power. They can push up to 600 watts. 12 volt, really? 600 watts? That's a lot. I don't know if I want to plug 600 watts into my battery.
Some of these GPUs now take 750. That's their minimum requirement.
That's insane.
Yeah, if you get an RTX 3090 Ti, I believe the spec on that is 750 watts. That's after you encounter your motherboard and CPU. You got to throw that on top of that.
Yeah.
Daniel Flora, can we talk about suing you, landlord, for a minute? Do we have any lawyers here who could give such advice? I don't think we can give any legal advice here, but I did actually sue a landlord at one point in time. But make sure you know your laws very well, and make sure they have a reputation for not knowing your laws very well, and make sure that you have everything documented. If you do not have everything documented and complete solid evidence for everything you are allegedly asking for, don't even try. Now, that being said, some states like Pennsylvania, for like basic cleaning, if the landlord makes you use your security deposit to clean the apartment, but that's not explicitly in the lease, the burden of proof is on them to demonstrate that it needs cleaning, not the burden of proof on you to demonstrate that you cleaned it. But the courts are an interesting and fickle place, so whatever. But
this gives an opportunity for starting a conspiracy theory. Tom sued a landlord, and now he's living in a van.
Well, if you want your tinfoil hat, maybe there's a reason for all of this. I'm living in the van because no one will rent to me anymore. Well, the funny thing is that the property owner there literally tried to bribe me to stay by getting me a hot tub and a bunch of blondes and liquor. Literally. Let me
my word.
See if I can find that. So, I mean, I knew that if they are trying to have the defense of this, we hated this guy. That was definitely not going to fly. But it was quite hilarious. Let's see if I can find that or not. I don't know if I will be able to. Where was that at? Not sure how far up they are. Obviously, it was a joke, but so another factor, is just have evidence of everything. If you have text messages, don't delete them. Let's see. If will you stay if we put in a hot tub on the back deck? You can get yourself in a drunken stupor nightly and forget about the idiot running the state, and we'll supply a bottle a week. Literally, that's what he texts me.
Oh, my word.
Oh, here you go. We'll find a cute blonde to go along with the hot tub in lieu of the bottles. After I told him I don't drink. Obviously, it was a joke. It was a funny joke. But they weren't going to successfully say, this guy was a stupid deadbeat or anything. We were glad to see him go, because you don't joke around with a tenant like that, that you want out, Let's see. GPU power replacements keep going up. Every house in North America is going to need to get a dedicated 220-volt plug just for computers. Yeah, and that's a funny thing, right? And, in all our world talking about this, understand this. You do not need that type of graphics card for the average computer user. Now, if you're into hardcore gaming, sure. Full-on video production, I would argue probably not even then. The average computer user is literally wasting electricity for nothing when you do that. Hey, look at that. We get another one. Let's go ahead and report this one as well. Ha ha ha. Yeah, we're gonna report you all. Everybody go and report the porny bot.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yep, I see it.
Yep. We're just gonna mass. Yep, there you go. All right. So anyway, this is one of the things I did in the van is I have different computers for different powers for different uses. Because on my basic regular job doing web design work, you can get away with a Raspberry Pi and it works just fine. And I can literally run a Raspberry Pi straight. Let's assume the nuclear winter occurs. I can get no draw off of my solar and I have to rely exclusively on my battery. I have 1,000 hours of work with my Raspberry Pi before the battery goes down. The big streaming computer here, we have about 5 to 7 hours. And so just making sure that you are able to look at the power needs that you have and don't buy too big of a computer. If all you're doing is, streaming stuff and some light computer work, a laptop with a small processor is probably more than enough. But yeah, these things drawing thousands of watts of power, amazing. It's a literal waste. Where is Greta Thunberg telling you you're wasting the planet? Because you are.
Yeah. I know, just to see that face again and be like, how dare you?
How dare you? How dare you? I loved it. Did you guys see when the she's talking about all the bad stuff on the Germany train, and the Germany train was not having it? They posted back on Twitter because she posts this on Twitter, and they post back. I'm sorry if you didn't like your first class private room by yourself. You'll have to try harder. And it was really like, yeah. Why Raspberry? What are the benefits of running one? Why Raspberry? Because they taste good, of course. So Raspberry Pi. So I use my Raspberry Pi for work because it draws almost no power. It runs, I think I measured it at 8 watts. And it does everything I need it to do for web design work. I can do all my email. I can do the occasional low bitrate YouTube video if I need to watch some video for some protocol or something like that. Obviously,
that's one cat on a treadmill.
Things like that. Yeah. And so there's that. That's why I run a Raspberry Pi. Low power, super low power. And
did I get the spam bot all cleaned up?
Haven't seen him yet. He only got 3.
I actually reported them and removed them, as many of them as I could find.
Yep. Thank you. Steve's very own. How's it going there, man? GPU only use that power when it needs to. Usually they run much lower. Yeah. So mine will run if I'm not processing a video. If this computer idles, it runs about 80 watts. If it's processing a video, it runs about 120.
Yeah.
And there are 2 reasons, main reasons for having a really powerful GPU card. One is gaming, that's obvious, but also for those who are doing video editing, because if you have a powerful GPU and you enable the software to use hardware encoding, you vastly speed up how fast the encoding process is taking. So you are shortening the amount of time you have to wait for it to finish.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
but just for streaming, and you just have one monitor and so on, you don't need a powerful GPU card. Even the Intel graphics is plenty to stream and so on. But if you want to do some advanced stuff, then you might need one.
Yeah, absolutely. North Point continues on with the Raspberry Pi. What about the speed? Would they not be kind of slow? Depending on what you're doing, of course. I find that my Raspberry Pi feels sometimes a little laggy, but I think that's just some of the weird lagginess in Plasma. So what I've been thinking about doing is throwing like XFCE on it, basically get those resources as low as possible with as much functionality as I can get into the desktop. But no, it's really not bad. Obviously I wouldn't want to do a lot of super intense stuff. I could do some light GIMP work on it. I couldn't do video editing, of course. But no, they're not otherwise not all that slow if you're doing basic office type stuff. Writing documents, writing emails, doing coding, which usually just involves text editors, web browsers. No, they're not slow at all. Not in that case. Now I have the higher end one. So I have an 8 GB Raspberry Pi Model 4. Raspberry.
Yeah,
Raspberry Pi
and for those who are thinking about buying a Raspberry, buy an 8 gig or a high powerful one. Then you will have a much better experience, and it still uses low power.
Yeah, if you're using it as a desktop computer, for sure. Yeah, get the 8 gig one. Now I actually have a Raspberry Pi 2 GB, which runs my open source media center, and it runs perfectly fine. It basically just pulls data from my NAS, which is also a Raspberry Pi, and feeds it to the monitor, and it doesn't stutter or stammer or anything. It plays videos perfectly fine. And so that works. I have my NAS, my network attached storage is a Raspberry Pi. I also have an onboard PHP server, which is a Raspberry Pi 4 GB, and those run perfectly fine at that. So, those are all right.
The average power draw on those are like maybe 5 watts or something like that. Because I've got 2 running file servers.
Yeah, I measured the workstation one got up to about 8 watts.
Okay.
I don't think I measured the NAS. I did measure the NAS on the video where I installed. I have a whole comprehensive tutorial about how to build open source media center, or not open source media, open media vault on a Raspberry Pi. I have a whole video on that. I actually showed you what the actual wattage was. I forget what it was, but it was not high. It was maybe, I think,
one issue that Raspberry Pis or single board computers struggle with is the compilation. So if you are doing some software development and you need to compile stuff often in order to check if the code works, then you are going to have a not so good experience.
Yeah, let me just move my microphone briefly here so I can actually access one of my Raspberry Pis. So for you guys that have not seen them, let me grab one for you guys. I'm going to see if I can track down the name of the company.
It's not right that now, we don't like one. It's that some of us can't really justify buying something that we're going to tinker with and then throw in a drawer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's valid. That's absolutely valid. The question is, do you have a use for it? So I
want one really bad, but I can't think of something I could use. It's not like I got all these laptops around here. I got 6 of them.
Yeah, and I have 4 Raspberry Pis in production built into the walls of the van. And then I have my last one here, which if I want to tinker. So
I think Ivan has one to show you.
Yep. Hold on. I haven't got. All right, you're on. Nice.
Yeah, I've got a Raspberry Pi 2 here. I don't use it anymore because I got this. This is a 2, so I got this back at like the turnover from 16 to 17, and I helped a guy down in Denmark. Of course, I say down from New Hampshire. It's like way up north, but I helped him with some software on turning the Raspbian at the time into a called Craftian, and so basically an operating system that he made using Raspbian, and this became, I was a tester for it, and this was for that, and of course, that project went by the wayside. So now this is just a decoration on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's there it is.
So Raspberry Pis right now, because of the chip shortage, are getting hard to find. When I bought this, I could not find them anywhere else. This is the company I bought mine from, Vilros. So this is actually the company where I bought mine from. They also have fun things like old classic Nintendo controllers.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Nice.
I actually bought me one of those. Now, when I placed the order, they actually messed up the order and they forgot to include the Nintendo controller, which was a separate thing I added. And when it came in, I sent them an email, said, hey, I did not get this. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry. And they sent that in the mail the next day. I got it like 3 days later. But everything else I got with this Raspberry Pi kit, I think I paid maybe $100-ish for this. I got a Noobs card with 32 gigabyte Noobs card. I got it came with several different connectors. No, actually, I think the connectors, I don't remember if the connectors came with that, or I think the connectors might have come with my screen. Can't remember what my connectors came with. They might have come with the Pi. They might have come with my screen. I can't remember. I believe I got this cable, which is a HDMI mini to full HDMI. And then it comes in this box that actually has a fan mounted on top, so you can mount the Pi in the bottom and
Nice.
then plug the fan in. Of course, I don't use that feature because I have this nice case with a fan on it.
There you
So absolutely, they're awesome. I enjoy tinkering with them, and if you have things, so what are some of the things you might do in production with it? You might consider a network attached storage, making backups and stuff easier and keeping all your backups on external drives. That's something you could probably do. You could probably do, I also run, if you do like web type stuff, I have a PHP server. I actually used the PHP server to test out one of the self-hosted accounting software. And I did that on the Raspberry Pi. That way I could attach it and not connect it to the internet. So I had a self-hosted web-based accounting software that was not actually attached to the internet. So you can do fun things like that. Gaming emulators, of course. This wonderful 80s style fanny pack is actually all a video game emulator. That's another Raspberry Pi. This is a Raspberry Pi 2. And it emulates every video game system up to PS1.
I remember watching a video. I don't remember how far, 1 or 2 years ago, and I'm not sure if it was Linus Tech Tips who did this or another channel, but they had 7 or 8 Raspberry Pis, and they 3D printed for them that when you put them together, it became a pretty rack mount that you could put in a rack shelf. So they had rack-mounted Raspberry Pis, and you could have as many as you wanted.
Yeah, there you go. So here, Vilros has, apparently they have them in stock. So they don't have the 2 gig in stock, but have the 4 and the 8 gig in stock. So if you're looking for like a workstation, to play with a workstation, the 8 gig is what I'd go with. This is $160. It comes with a Pi, a Raspberry Pi case with a fan. It comes with a adapter to convert the micro HDMI to a full HDMI. It has a power switch, a power supply with a switch, so you can keep it plugged in but toggle it with a switch. We have heat sinks. We have a nice transport case. So that's not a bad deal for this. You can choose your style of case. Looks like they have black, gray, clear, and so these ones here. This clear and these ones here give you access to the chips on the side.
Oh, we got the spam bot back.
Oh, spam bot's back. Hey, you
Oh,
two.
he's getting daring. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for those who are wondering if they should go for a 4 gig or an 8 gig Raspberry, my advice would be to go for an 8 gig RAM Raspberry, because the more RAM you have, the longer you can have the system running without it feeling sluggish, as software just keep expanding as time goes on.
Yeah, and I usually tell people, don't get any more than you think you really need, but at the same time, it's like you never know if you're actually going to decide to do a project that actually needs a little bit more. So overshoot it a little bit and just get a little extra. And since it's only 8 gigs, just grab that, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and an 8 gig is an excellent desktop system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if you're not even if you're not using it as a desktop system now, you might want to do it in the future. So it's nice to have the ability and not locking yourself out in 2 years' time because you have too little RAM.
Yeah, it's like with most console makers, it's like their hardware is actually far more capable of what they're actually developing for it. So let's say an Xbox would be like, well, it can do this, but they're only making games that they're only doing, this little tiny bit when they could really be doing this.
Yeah.
But, it's just they don't want to spend the time developing that huge of a product.
Does it play original Asteroid? Yes.
Sounds like a RetroPie.
I do have Asteroid in my RetroPie. Yes, indeed.
There you go.
Asteroid was one of the first. That was one of the first computer games I ever played.
Yeah, me too.
Waiting for a Pi with an end user upgradable RAM. You might be waiting a while for that.
Yeah, even if it's like a socketed chip or something.
Yeah. Well, it is past 8, so time flies. We're having fun. I think we got to jump off. We'll be on the Christian channel in about 50 minutes on there. We will be talking about Jonah chapter 2. I'll go ahead and put the link in here. Ivan's final words?
No, not really. I think I'm good.
All right. Sabu, final words.
Live long and prosper.
All right. There you go. Dan, final words.
Everybody take care. Don't forget to visit Tom's Christian channel if you can, if that's your kind of thing. And good night, everyone.
Yeah, and if not, we do have the travel channel as well. If you guys have not seen the travel channel, we can head on over there. Let me grab you guys a link for that. And I believe, what did we do last time? We did one on Tuesday looking at... Oh, yes, we were organizing a storage unit. Before that, we talked about a DC fuse box and wiring up your equipment. And then we did some stuff. I'm not sure. Oh, no, tomorrow we're talking about 4 or 5 items I thought I would need in the van, but I ended up not actually needing. And then that video is already done and ready to go. And then after that, I'll probably pick something else to do build-wise inside the van. Leave me a comment over there if you want to see something specific. Otherwise, I'll pick something random. And then we'll be back onto some of the more travel stuff. Pretty soon, I have some reviews of some solar equipment, like solar cooking equipment, solar thermoses and solar ovens and stuff like that. I'll be talking about those soon. But anyway... email me
just
edit scripts to
if I may,
resize.
just a final comment that I remember someone saying. Those are a band that made a DVD some years ago, and one of the band members said, the singer said, when you go to bed, don't forget your brush your teeth, and if you're driving, don't forget your car.
That is right. Correct.
You need to make a video on how to squeeze water out of a rock.
I did that. I did that over here, and it is called Finding Water on the Road, where I filmed it in Death Valley, and it was glorious.
Oh, I'm not that far off. Great.
Copy link address. There you go. And this one has the best beginning I've ever done in a video so far. If nothing else, you got to watch the first 15 seconds because it's great. Anyway, with that, thanks for watching, everybody. James B, if you want that script, shoot me an email. my contact form on the website, and I will be glad to email you the script that I have to resize images. It's nice and easy. You can actually just pause the video and copy it too if you want. It's nice and easy. But we can go ahead and get that for you if you don't want to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.